Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined with my good friend Piglet here. This is one of our female brindle crested geckos. She's also a pinstripe and a reverse pinstripe. Really pretty crested gecko. But in today's video, what I want to talk about is how to handle your crested gecko and what to expect when handling your crested gecko. So I'm going to talk about a few kind of points, and then we're going to kind of show you with Piglet here kind of how to handle a crested gecko. So let's get right into it. First thing to expect when handling a crested gecko is don't expect your crested gecko to just come to you out of nowhere. There is a certain process of building trust with your crested gecko, and typically that will involve you kind of get your crested gecko to associate you with food. This lets them know that, like, oh cool, when this guy or when this girl comes around, I'm getting fed. That right there is a positive reinforcement that your gecko is going to have with you, and that's very important when it comes to handling crested geckos. As you can see, I had to get Louie. He's kind of in a sour mood, so I'm trying to help him out here, let him hang out on my shoulder. So when you go to the crested gecko's tank, what you need to do is just reach your hand in there and gently grab the gecko. Don't just wait for the gecko to jump on your hand. Gently grab the gecko, not forcefully. Get your hand under the gecko and just kind of let it get on your hand. Kind of poke it from behind and just let it walk to your hand. Or just gently grab the gecko and then immediately put it in your hand and then let it start kind of doing this hand walking stuff that Piglet's doing here. As you can see, kind of like that. They're not really going to come to you. There are definitely certain geckos that people have that do come to them. Those are the outliers. Those are few and far between. So realistically, you can expect that your gecko really doesn't want to be held. That's just kind of the bottom line of the whole thing. By letting the gecko walk around in your hand, what you're doing is you're not restricting the gecko. So the gecko doesn't feel restricted. And because the gecko doesn't feel restricted, it's gonna calm down a little bit sooner than if you were just to hold it in your hand like this and not allow it the freedom to move. So it's very important for these guys to feel free and that you're not about to eat them, right? Because in their eyes, they don't know that I'm the one feeding them, watering them, cleaning their tanks and all this stuff. They don't care. They know that I could eat them if I really wanted to, right? So it's important to make sure that they don't feel like you're gonna be a threat to them, right? So just kind of let them walk around your hand. Piglet's one that I've worked with since she was like 3 grams. And as you can see, she's pretty chill. I mean, I don't handle her very often at all, but when she does see me, she knows that I'm not gonna murder her. She knows that I've held her a ton throughout her life. If you get a gecko out and you see it that it's being very scared or very timid or it just really isn't feeling it, make sure you put that gecko back. A lot of times when you're dealing with reptiles, it's important to have positive reinforcement with them, and it's important that, like I said earlier, that they don't think you're eating them. So if the gecko gets stressed, put it back and then try again the next day. Don't keep stressing out the animal. It's not good for them, and it's not good for your relationship with that animal. If you guys go look at a lot of my videos, you'll see that a ton of my geckos will just chill in my hand. And a lot of that does have to do with, I've had a ton of these geckos since they were babies. I've held them since they were babies. I don't overhandle though. I might pick them up once a week. I mean, maybe, you know, some of them more than that, some of them less than that. But for the most part, a lot of my animals are usually pretty chill. And I think that's because I haven't had any negative interactions with any of them. I haven't led them to believe that they shouldn't distrust me. Not saying that they necessarily trust me, but they don't have a major distrust for me. If you do want to get your gecko accustomed to handling, I would probably do 5 to 10 minutes every other day. Handling daily, do you see this? Handling daily is not something that you really want to do. It can stress the gecko out even if they're not showing it. It's just really not ideal. I think that if you handled them 3 to 4 times a week for 5 to 10 minutes, you will build an incredible relationship with your crested gecko. Incredible. no need to overdo it, and just kind of let them chill with you, you know, just let them hang out and they'll be good. A big thing when it comes to handling a crested gecko is you want to make sure that that gecko is eating and eating good before you start handling all the time. Make sure your gecko is as comfortable as it can possibly be in your home, and then start the handling process. I do see a lot of people who wait way too long. They wait till their gecko's an adult to start handling it, and by that time, for the most part, typically it's too late. And when it's too late, you really, it's gonna be very hard to tame that gecko. You really need to start with them when they're a little bit younger. You need to handle them. Keep building those positive reinforcements over time, and that's something that's super important. The other thing I want to talk about is when handling these guys, our skin runs at, you know, we're 98.6 degrees, right? Most of us. Some of us may run a degree cooler, some of us may run a degree warmer, whatever. These guys, they run 75 degrees, you know, that's what they want to be at. That's ideal for them. You don't really want to handle them for too long because it's honestly uncomfortable for them to a certain point. They enjoy it for a little bit, but if you overhandle them and you keep them on your body heats way too much for them. So there is an argument to be made that it is a little uncomfortable for them to just kind of be on you all the time. And the last point that I want to make is that you should have different expectations for every single gecko. No two geckos are going to react the same whenever being handled. I know that a lot of my females are way more chill than my males, like way more chill. I have one male who was very, very skittish from about 12 months old to 18 months old, and then he kind of mellowed back out. That's something to definitely consider. I found that males are more skittish than females. I feel like there's a lot of people who will back that up for their own, but that's my personal experience. I've also found that during mating season, once they mature, males can be particularly aggressive when handling. They've been known to mate people's hands, you know, they turn crazy during mating season because once again, they're reptiles and kind of their sole purpose is to reproduce, right? And to keep their, you know, their species going. That's the whole goal of a crested gecko, per se. So have different expectations. Don't expect you to open up your doors and your crested gecko to jump on you and cuddle you. And there are those geckos out there that love their owners and they jump on their owners like crazy. That's a rare gecko. I mean, that's you can work on that, and there's nothing that says that that's a for sure going to happen. And don't go into buying a crested gecko and think that that's what you're gonna get. All right, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, stay safe and stay positive.